obviously Sarah Burton at Givenchy, which kind of makes all the sense in the world. Like she's basically following in the footsteps of Lee McQueen, who's obviously at Givenchy as well. It's been with Lee McQueen forever. Do you know that she interned at McQueen in 1996 when she was still a fashion student? That was before I was born. That's insane. Like, that's insane. And then she obviously, when she graduated in 1997, she joined the company full time. And in 2010, after McQueen's unfortunate passing, she became the creative director. But like, it's so insane that she's literally been there since 1996, since before I was literally on this earth.
I'm excited for her Givenchy.
I'm really excited because I think that I don't like bashing people, but it just kind of happens naturally. But like, I didn't like Matthew Williams Givenchy apart from the accessories because I thought the accessories are really good, and I think that he set up Givenchy for success accessories wise. But when it comes to like the clothing, I just wasn't a fan, and I like the direction that Givenchy were going in. Like 2 seasons ago for their fall winter 24 collection, I actually got to go to their like atelier and I got to speak to the team and they ran me through the whole collection and they were telling me why they did certain things, what their inspiration was for the thing. They were like, looking at old Hubert de Givenchy things, bringing back like his famous cat prints and stuff, bringing back on the lining the 70s Givenchy logo. The fabrics were amazing, kind of like the techniques that they use on the clothing. Let me see if I can put it on the screen actually, because actually people need to see this stuff. I
No
took
direction though.
pictures. That's the only issue, because obviously there's no like overarching like creative director there. But in an individual sense, like when I was looking at each individual like piece, I was like, oh, this is really good. 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 Yeah, these are some of the images I took when I was there. And some of the stuff that was just there. But yeah, it's just like from the fall winter 24 collection.
Just quickly, I've seen Luke thinking it's saying about being a cool game changer. I don't think it's going to be a cool game changer at all. Right? I just think that she's a good person to have at Givenchy, and she will keep that horse alive because she'll keep feeding it, and she'll feed it with stuff
And
respectfully.
the basis of a lot of Givenchy is tailoring, and that's literally what Sarah Burton is known for. Like when we think of Sarah Burton at McQueen, she's not as crazy as McQueen with the ideas. Like I feel like McQueen redefined tailoring with like creating new silhouettes, literally like bumpsters. And then what Sarah Burton did is refine tailoring. So McQueen is the redefiner and she's the refiner. So I think Givenchy, they just kind of need someone that can design couture, which I think she can do, have classic designs, good at tailoring, wearable pieces, good commercially. I think she can do all of those things.
And also, before Galliano was at Givenchy, um, Givenchy isn't really known for being the most interesting designer in the world.
Yeah, it's just very classic, very well made. That's like the basis of what Givenchy is.
So I'm not expecting it to be, you know, earth-shatteringly amazing. I just think it's going to be very well made, really nice accessories, and there is nothing wrong with that as long as it has one vision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old.
Definitely, I'm just getting old. Finn, you're still young. Stop it.
Bitch, I'm older than you. Shut up. Is there much to
Let's
say
see
on
what people
Givenchy
say.
though?
The house of Givenchy is boring, but that's why it needs total reinvention. Oh my, so that sweater's really pretty. Yeah, I love it. Givenchy needs a visionary to put it back on the map. It's dying a slow death. I just think no one really talks about Givenchy in like fashion discourse these days. Like you look at fashion discourse online, people just don't really talk about the brand anymore. It's kind of strange.
And also to Matthew Williams' credit, he had about 2 collections that I liked.
Mm.
And also, do you think they intentionally didn't do couture because he couldn't handle it, or do you think it was a brand decision that they just didn't want to do it?
What other reason would they not do couture for a brand that literally isn't a couture house? Like,
Like, couldn't afford
it's
it?
probably because they thought he couldn't. No, I think they just thought he couldn't handle it. To be honest, because I
That's
remember one
wild.
time hearing that. I remember one time hearing that they were gonna bring, was it Karine Rothfeld to like consult on couture, and then eventually they just didn't like do it in the end.
See, Luke agrees with me here.
Luke is saying they don't want to do it, but I promise that Sarah Burton's probably going to do couture.
It would be nice to see again. I don't even mind if all couture houses just do one couture show a year, like
Mm.
the move is going.
Like, we know it's not going to make money. It's not for this. It's not that. Like, I just want to see Sarah Burton create really amazing clothing. I don't. We know it's not going to sell. Is just add it to your. They should just add it to their marketing budget. Let us see good clothing.
And by the way, guys, I liked Claire White Colours, Givenchy. Hot take.
I did too. The I think most people did. I think the big issue with Claire White Colours Givenchy, it just didn't sell. That's it. I
Oh,
don't think many
did it not
people
sell?
disliked it. No, it didn't sell. It wasn't
Oh,
selling
I didn't
well.
know that.
Like Luke said, LVMH said no, but Sarah stipulated couture was a must, so they had to change their minds. But it was a brand decision before. That's interesting. But once again, it shows that Matthew probably didn't have pull like that, because why couldn't he convince them to do it the way Sarah did?
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Let's see what Sarah said. It's a great honor to be joining the beautiful house of Givenchy. It is a jewel. I'm so excited to be able to write the next chapter in the story of this iconic house and to bring to Givenchy my own vision, sensibility, and beliefs.
I think Sarah will sell because she did sell McQueen.
At McQueen, exactly.
And like you said, yeah, they made product that Matthew Lee, fucking hell, Matthew
Matthew
Williams
Williams.
did do a good job at making product and
I agree.
reinventing product.
I think, like I said, when it comes to Matthew Williams, the accessories were great. And like I said, I think he set Givenchy up for success in the future, because I remember when I went to the atelier, they just kept talking about the bags and the footwear, like with the padlocks and stuff. Obviously, Matthew Williams like really focused on and like marketed. And it's selling really well for them. Like, look at their Instagram. Look, that's all they're pushing, damn near. Like, just boots on boots on boots on boots on boots.
But they
And
actually are.
this is because Matthew Williams was heavily marketing it to the point where it was so successful by the time he left that that's all they wanted to tell the press about. When you would go to their atelier and like visit, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, and like we're working on this bag and we're working on these boots with the padlocks." Like, that's what they wanted to talk about.
My export is Givenchy Parker coat, and it was incredible.
Mm,
And it was a Bista, and it was 85% off. But
85% off. Whoa.
don't. And but the it was fur hood, a real fur hood with feathers in the fur.
Wow.
It was insane. It just wasn't. If you said it wasn't Givenchy and you said it was somebody else, no, my ex wasn't Nigerian. Thank you. He was
Oh my
he
word.
he was the complete opposite, Lithuanian. There you go.
No, you can't beat the allegations that you only date Nigerian men.
I don't even date
Yeah,
them. Just
this was the lining from the 70s that they brought back. Like the 70s lining for Givenchy. Well, the logo also that Givenchy used to use in the 70s, like that print. They're using it as like lining in their clothing now, which is like a cool little touch.
it's a nice logo.
Yeah. It's really classic looking, and because it's just the lining, like it's really chic. Or they even had like the skirt that I showed on the screen that looks like that. So that's why I wanted to show that stuff, because it's very much like what Sarah's gonna do. She's kind of just gonna build on that, really.
It's mad that Tishy basically designed all of those bags and shoes.
I know.
Like, is it the Antigona? Yeah, it is.
I want to see the receipt. Says, am I literally the only person that actually likes Matthew and Williams and Tishi? They catch shows like Maria Grazia these days. Do you know what it is though? Just because I like or dislike a designer doesn't mean that it should affect who you like and dislike. It's like fashion is very subjective. Obviously, I'm just giving my own subjective opinion on my live stream. But like, when it comes to Tishi, I don't think Tishi is a bad designer. I just think he wasn't a good fit for Burberry. But as Givenchy, I think he was amazing. Or like Matthew Williams. I like Matthew Williams as a designer. I just like Alix. I didn't like what he did at Givenchy, but if we're talking about Alix, I'm big fan. So I think it just depends. Also, it's very rare that I just dislike every single thing that a designer does. I can probably think that okay, this designer isn't a good fit here. That's a really good fit. There's very few designers that I just think across the board are terrible.
And I like Matthew's Nike, so
Hmm.
come at me. And I don't like Alix or his Givenchy.
Yeah.
I had, and I'm normally quite inflammatory, which is just the way I am. But I actually agree with you that even if I don't like a designer doing something, I most of the time it's a fit issue. Like in
Right.
terms of where they are.
Do you reckon that as Givenchy they'll allow Sarah Burton to kind of bring a slight McQueen edge? Because if we're going to be honest, that's what she knows. That's where she's been
I was
her
gonna say,
whole
isn't
damn
that
career.
her?
Like, that's her whole career. Sarah Burton is classic. She does classic well, but she also obviously still has some McQueen sensibilities. There is still like an edge there, which I don't think Givenchy is known for per se. But I feel like she can balance the two in a way that the collections look really nice.
And I have to say, the Sarah Burton client exists, and especially in women's wear, those corporate girlies be buying Sarah Burton McQueen. They were buying it.
But she does like her commercial stuff is really good because it's
Yeah.
nicely tailored. For the price, it was good. At least at McQueen, for the price, it was like decent quality. It's easy to wear. You can wear it and not look like totally out of place. It's kind of like like what you're saying, where I can wear it to the office. I can wear it to like you could wear a lot of her pieces in like various settings and not feel out of place or like you're doing too much or you're the center of attention. So no, I think yeah, that Sarah Benson customer is definitely there.
I think that stuff was really nice. It just,
I agree.
I just didn't look at it and go McQueen. And I think, actually, does that matter now that she's actually Givenchy?
But it's only because I think with McQueen, because McQueen is so maybe theatrical is not the word. That's more Galliano, but like he's very like where he pulls inspiration from is really far and wide, and it makes for very distinctive um collection season to season. Whereas like Sarah Burton is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna refine the tailoring, but her ideas are not as rich or deep or vast as McQueen. So then all her clothes just end up being really commercial. So that's why it doesn't feel McQueen, because McQueen would like the ceiling would be partially falling from the building, and it's a commentary on like, you know, how places are being gentrified. Like that's a McQueen way to do things, but Sarah Burton just doesn't do that at all. So that's why it would always feel a bit off.
Yeah. But then, like you said, like the beautifully made clothes, and they really are. I have a shirt from when I worked in retail, and I got it for 50 quid. Will never forget. And I still wear it when I go into the office. It's a shirt dress, and I just wear it as a shirt,
Mm,
as a shirt. And it's like short sleeved, massively oversized, no collar. Or no, it is a collar, but it has just like a point of a collar on it. And I always get compliments on it. And I'm like, this is the only piece that I own from him.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, Duke, exactly. McQueen is cerebral, Burton is practical. Exactly that. Luke is saying McQueen is theatrical. I don't know why. Every time he is, but when I think of theatrical, I just think of all the way to the end. So then it just makes me think of Galliano. But yeah, he is theatrical. When I say that word and I think of designers, Galliano is like the first thing that comes to my head. So I don't, because McQueen and Galliano are not the same. They don't do theatre in the same way. Like
One
McQueen
was
is not
darker.
like, yeah, and McQueen doesn't put his face front and center the way Galliano did at the height of like Galliano. McQueen made his work theatrical, but he didn't make himself the theatre. Whereas
Yeah, I
Galliano was
agree.
like both.
And I sometimes also no, actually, do you know what? Sometimes it's okay not to speak. It wasn't even a read. I just was wrong.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I like her clothes. They're very nice.
yeah. I agree. It's just commercial, and it's not. I don't see it. Obviously, it's for the House of McQueen and stuff. It's just very different to Lee McQueen's work, but I still like it though. And if it was under that house, so be it. It's different, but I think she's a good fit at Givenchy. And it's funny because I remember when we were having this conversation about who should go to Givenchy. I don't think many people mentioned her name.
No, and I know she's designing from London, so she's not moving to Paris.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's staying in London.
Hmm.
But it's the
Is
same with
that
Kim Jones.
practical?
Kim Jones does
Is
the
that
same.
practical? Because the atelier is all in Paris, no? Like
Yeah,
I've
but
literally
Kim
been
Jones
to the
doesn't design
atelier.
from Paris. Doesn't design from Paris.
So are they going to like they're gonna have to move a lot of the staff over, no?
They'll have the same thing that happened at Celine Phoebe Philo. They had a atelier in the UK as well.
Hmm.
And then they used to go for like, once a month or once a week. She would go to Paris and just check, like, bring her and her team would bring ideas that they'd worked on in London or whatever.
Yeah. Yuki Nation says over Zoom. Imagine, guys, can you just do this? Like that wouldn't really work. You have to be
He's
there, nitty gritty, on the floor, on your knees, like showing them how it's done, McQueen style.
just cutting a ham off with some scissors like that fucking, just go chop.
Just ripping fabric
Yeah.
this way, guys.
I mean, it's funny though. I think people forget that that's actually not how design's done
Mm.
anymore.
Wait, can we pull anything out of her McQueen collections that feel like unique codes besides polished?
Use of leather.
Mm, yeah, she does use a lot of leather. I think she has a certain silhouette of blazer that I really associate with Sarah Burton. Like if I saw someone wearing a certain shape of blazer, I'll be like, yeah, that's definitely Sarah Burton. Let me see if I can whip it on the screen, like get a picture example of what I'm talking about. Like I
Also,
associate that silhouette with her.
Brett saying John Galliano did talk at Margiela mostly over Zoom. You're right. And also, Loewe under J.W. Anderson, some of his best collections were done via Zoom. And he talks about it in interviews all the time.
The weirdest thing to me during like when people were using Zoom was during the pandemic, like how stylists were using Zoom, like to creatively direct shoots and stuff. It seemed like a really tedious process.
Did you see the one that Nick Knight did? And it was the Valentino one.
Mm,
He did that all over Zoom.
really? Wow. She just has a certain silhouette that she does. Like stuff like this. This shape to me in my mind is so distinctive to like Sarah Burton. If I see someone with this kind of shape, which is what Sean McGear has kind of like tried to do, especially in his like debut. That's I could see it. Um
I'm tripping, but does that look like the new look to you? I'm on a lot of NyQuil.
Slightly, I guess, like cinch waist ish. But like she does it, it's like it's a certain like shape across like most of her stuff. It just has like a certain shape that she always uses.
The neckline as well, that sort of squared off scoop is very her.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke says it's a classic Sarah signature, exactly. There's like a she does have like a distinctive silhouette. I feel like even let me put this on the screen. This is something I really associate with Sarah Burton a lot. This here, because it's that exact same shape of clothing. See, this exact same shape, like this shape here.
Is it Empire line?
See, even with the coat, the same shape here. Once again, like the cinched in waist. She does have like a very distinctive silhouette. What did Luke say? Had to say goodbye to my McQueen sales assistant because I will not be shopping there any longer. Oh my gosh. Damn. And I know, Luke, you used to buy McQueen every season. Am I right? Or did I remember that wrongly? When Sarah Burton was there, at least. I wonder how many customers that were like, loved Sarah Burton and used to buy her stuff are just totally going to dip. Yeah, Sarah Burton has, and even though, like, obviously, we've been saying that she does commercial stuff, she does, it's still in the commerciality, she still has some like interesting things that she does with her collections. So I don't want to make it seem like Sarah Burton is just out here literally just designing blazers, because that's just not the case. There's so many Sarah Burton collections where she's referenced like McQueen directly, but like changed the fabric and stuff, and it's like very interesting and complicated silhouette. So it's not just like she was out here making blazers, but for the most part, that's what she did. Especially in like these like pre-fall kind of collections, you just see the blazers in this like very like the silhouette I'm talking about with the cinch waist that she does across every collection with her blazers or outerwear and stuff. Okay, Luke says I have like 3 jackets and 2 jumpers. Oh wow. I ran through Sarah's menswear. One of the jackets is bejeweled black satin bomber. Her stuff is immaculate. Oh my god! One day you need to hop on the stream and show us your Sarah Burton McQueen collection. But yeah, fashion is, I think, is in a good place. I think that the current fashion musical chairs has been really interesting. Like just seeing Claire White Keller at Uniqlo and Stefano Pilati at Zara, and then Sarah Burton at Givenchy, Heide Ackerman at Tom Ford. There's always, I don't know why, when fashion musical chairs happen, it's always so many designers at once. It's kind of like these brands plan to hire designers at the same time. They plan it together. Because why aren't they spaced out? Why is it always when we have, fashion musical chairs, it's a big fashion musical chairs with like 4 or 5 different designers going to different houses at once. And then also when there's like an exodus and designers are leaving houses, it normally happens in quick succession. It reminds me when Ludovic left Aunt Wilhelmista shortly after, Luigi from Rude left Bali, and then a few other designers left houses too around the same time. It's really strange. It's really weird. Luke says, I hope she will revolutionize Givenchy despite my hesitations. Why do you have hesitations? I'm just really curious. I think because I know her last years at McQueen didn't sell a lot. Plus, she isn't a visionary. I think Givenchy needs someone who will give it some needed oomph. I think she will replicate Claire's run. I agree, because she's a very strong designer and she makes classic clothing that looks really nice and is really well made. But in terms of, like you're saying, revolutionary, like it's what I said, McQueen is the revolutionary and Sarah Burton is good at refining. But because I'm a fan of hers, and also I just want to see Givenchy do well, and I think that her name can bring a well-needed buzz to the brand. I just think that hopefully that will lead to Givenchy sort of building its name again, becoming a big brand, entering the forefront, entering the zeitgeist of mainstream fashion and all that sort of stuff. So fingers crossed with Sarah Burton. I'm wishing her well at the brand. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind-the-scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club, where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.